I may be getting the exact quote wrong, but I think you said a few episodes ago that when Adam Cole, when you first saw him, he got it right away when it came to promos.
Yeah.
What does that mean? When you see someone and you don't feel the need right away to, not the need, but you don't say, like, oh, I got to critique this, or this has to completely change. When you see someone, you're like, wow, this guy's got it. What does that mean?
Well, besides being well-spoken, articulate, and I take that back. If somebody's supposed to be Eddie Kingston, his gimmick, he's not supposed to be well-spoken and articulate, right? But in his own way.
Right. You couldn't write for him.
Right. But if they're well-spoken for themselves, if they're articulate for themselves, if when you hear them speak, they seem to mean what they're saying, they seem to be serious about it. Even if they're joking in their gimmick. Whatever you hear a guy say, he sounds like he means it. He sounds like he's just come up with it for the first time. It's not rehearsed. Nobody told him to say it. And he's hitting all the points. He's selling the issue. He's selling the match. He's, illustrating the reason why he feels the way he does about what the situation is between him and his opponent and what he's going to do about it. In whatever manner or form that takes, that's the basic gist of it. If somebody's out there saying shit that somebody's going to point to when a heel went out and said, yeah, I've just fucked 50 women and I've done this and that. No. A heel, especially in the territory days, was supposed to brag and boast. And it's not about whether he's saying blatantly untrue shit and being silly. It's about whether he's saying blatantly untrue shit, but he expects you to believe it because he's one of these guys that's just full of shit. He's Geno Moore that had the fucking long-running program in Japan with Terry Funk. He's the guy next door that grew up next to the famous football player and showed him everything he knows. That's a fucking braggadocious heel. It's not that you say, well, he's saying a bunch of shit and I know it's not true. Yes, of course you know it's not true, but you're supposed to think that he's trying to make you believe it. That's the fucking thing. So there's the point is that there's a million different ways and a million different personalities that you can have in wrestling. And it just comes down to whether you are trying to make people believe in some respect that there is something legitimate about you that sets you apart from all the rest of these yahoos that are just doing what they're told. And it can draw you in either verbally or the physical charisma when you're watching them in the ring or whatever. The old say what you want about wrestling, but that guy's nuts or that guy or whatever. That's what you look for. And Adam Cole that you mentioned, he was articulate, well-spoken. He didn't stumble over his words. He had good camera presence. He had eye contact. He made you believe that he meant what he said. And it flowed. And with a lot of guys, especially when they're green, when they're inexperienced, when they're rookies, they're trying to say something they've memorized because they think it'll be cute. And therein goes the degree. I want a degree of difficulty of 5, execution of 10 instead of the other way around. Or they're just not comfortable. I mean, you wouldn't believe the seminars that we've done in OVW or in Ring of Honor and any training program I've been involved with. You give guys an opportunity. Okay, you cut me a 1-minute promo and get yourself over to me. They won't even take the minute. They don't know what to say. Some of them try to imitate wrestlers they've seen on television. Some of them try to come up. We had one guy at a Ring of Honor camp that his whole promo was about he was a space alien from another galaxy that had done I don't know what the fuck. And me and Kevin Kelly both looked at each other and we said, tell you what, go back and come up with who the fuck you are on this planet, because we don't engage in interspecies wrestling here, and then come back and be a real person, because apparently you haven't watched a lot of Ring of Honor. But that's, guys would take 37 seconds and just go blank and stop. I said, okay, well, go ahead.
How many guys, when you would first see them or evaluate their promo, or it was during a seminar, were doing promos that they memorized?
Anybody that could do a promo, 80% of them. The ones that couldn't do a promo, you couldn't tell whether they'd memorized anything or not. And I generally, in a crowd of 30 or 40, you would have 20 really good looking athletes, and you could tell that they'd tried hard on a lot of their moves. And you'd have 3 or 4 guys that could cut a promo that you would put on television at that point. And then we'd have to say, guys, here's you're trying for a job where one of the main parts of the job is you've got to be on television and talk and get yourself over. And I know it's not a talent that everybody just possesses naturally, but most of y'all have worked on these moonsaults and have a coronas and all these monkey flips and tic tackles and things. And we got 4 guys out of the 36 that I see here that we could cut a promo that I would put on television tomorrow. So, that's unfortunately, that's part of it. You used to be able to get by in the wrestling business if you were an underneath heel or an underneath babyface, if you couldn't do a promo because you never got a chance to anyway. And you hopefully would work enough places and get enough experience that it would come to you. But now from the start, you got to be able to talk, tell people why you're different, why they should be interested in you, get your shit over. And it helps if you're not a complete clown, although that doesn't disqualify you anymore from getting a job. But it helps if you're not.